Hi Year 7, so today what we're going to be doing is carrying on with our unit of Greek theatre, but what we're going to do is we're going to first recap what we have learnt so far about Greek theatre. So we have been looking for the past 2 weeks at the different vocal skill or verbal communication that actors use to interpret their characters on stage. So there are a number of different vocal elements. So you've got pitch, pace, pause, tone, volume, accent, emphasis, and intonation. Now you should have, over the past couple of weeks, written down all the different key words of vocal skills, and you should have written down the definitions. It is important that you write not only the key word but also the definition, because if it comes to a point later where I ask you to do a bit of revision on your vocal skills, it's really important you have that information there. Then, just to recap, choral speech. Choral speech is a group of people narrating as an ensemble together, either at the same time or taking sections of a speech to speak individually but as a group. So they would be telling a story to the audience, they would be singing, they would be dancing, and they would also, as you can see from the pictures, they would be wearing masks. So, task 1, you need to make sure you finish off your storyboard and pin assessment if you didn't have a chance to last week. Now, I'm going to go over the storyboard and the pin assessment in this lesson. So, if you are unsure, that's okay, just keep watching. If you have finished, you can skip ahead to go over to task 2. So, let's reread the story of Antigone. Antigone's father, the king, died. Her brother Haemon became the king. When the second brother, Polynices, heard this news, he raised an army and led them to the city as he wanted to be king. The battle ends with the defeat of the invading army, but both brothers are dead, killed by each other's hand. Creon, Antigone's uncle, had to assume power. He declares that he was the protector of the city. Only one of the brothers will be properly buried. As one brother attacked the city, he will be left unburied on the battlefield. Antigone decides that she must disobey, as she believes both brothers deserve a proper burial. She performs a ceremonial burial, a simple sprinkling of dust over the body. She is caught by the guards and is taken before Creon, who decides that she herself will be buried by being sealed in a cave. Creon is informed the gods are angry with his choice, and he finally decides to free Antigone. When the cave is opened to retrieve Antigone, she has already hung herself. Upon his return to the palace, Creon also learns that his wife killed herself too, when she heard what had happened, thus the end of the play. Creon is ruler over an orderly city, but he has lost everything. So that is the basic story of Antigone. If you are unsure or want that to be reread to you, just skip back a little bit and you can listen to me hearing and reading out the story again. So we are going to identify the 5 key points of the story. So, key point number 1. Father dies, brother Haemon becomes king, Polynices is jealous and raises an army to take to the city. Number 2. Battle and brothers die, Creon becomes king. Number 3. Creon says that Polynices should not be buried but Haemon should. Just so you know, that says Pol, but it actually should be Polynices. Antigone decides to go to the battlefield and perform a ceremonial burial. Number 4, guards see her on the battlefield and lock her away in a cave. The gods are not happy with Creon's decision and he tries to let her out, but she has died. And number 5, Creon goes back to his kingdom with his guards, but he is very upset and returns to his wife, has left him, and he is left with nothing but his kingdom. So those are the 5 key points of the story. So what I would like you to do is to create a storyboard. So I would like you to create a storyboard where you have a picture for each of the 5 key points of the play. So for instance, number 1, where it says father dies, brother Haemon becomes king, Polynices is jealous and raises an army to take to the city. So I would like you to create key point number 1 into the storyboard. So all you have to do for scene 1, just put number 1, find some pictures or draw some pictures that would best represent key point 1 and put that in the storyboard. And the same thing with number 2. So battle and brothers die, Creon becomes king. All you have to do is put scene 2 into the storyboard and you can create the storyboard image. So for instance, where it says battle and brothers die, Creon becomes king, you could have some people battling on a battlefield, and then you can have Creon becoming king. So you could have somebody as a king. You could find a picture of a cartoon king. So anything like that. And you have to do that for each of the 5 key points of the story. So you can either draw pictures or take some from the internet to show what happens in each section. It is completely up to you. Now there is a storyboard template attached to the assignment that you could use as a template, or you can do it on a PowerPoint. So you could have 1 slide per storyboard scene or per key point, a Word document, or you could do it on paper. It's completely up to you. Most people tend to do it on paper because it's easier and they like to enjoy drawing it. If you're not confident drawing, you can draw stick men. It really doesn't matter. I'm not marking you on your drawing. I'm marking you essentially on your ability just to think about the different scenes that are happening. So once that is done, you would need to pin mark your work. So after completing your storyboard, you need to pin mark your work by answering the questions below. So use the picture of the lesson outcomes to help you decide what level you are currently at. So you essentially just need to finish these sentences. I think the most positive thing about my work is, I think I need to improve. The next steps I will take to improve my work are, and the level I will give my work. Now the level you would give your work, it would be between 1 to 4, and if you look to the picture on the right, it has the lesson outcomes. So it goes from number 1, which is the beginning. So to the right of that, it gives you a bit of an explanation about what the outcome is, and then number 4 is mastered. So what level do you think you would give your work? So this is really important because it gives you a bit of self-assessment for you to be able to realise what current level you are at and what you need to improve on in future lessons. So only once you have done that are we going on to this section here, which is the next part, which is the script work. So today we'll be taking some script from the play Antigone and adding in vocal skills that we have learnt over the past couple of weeks. So here are some examples of careers that this could help you with. So number 1 is a screenwriter. Now a screenwriter, clues in the name, writes scripts for screen. So having a good variety and a good idea of what scripts are like, practicing playing scripts for example, it gives you a lot better understanding if you're wanting to enter a career like that. Also, if you ever wanted to be an actor, acting a lot of the time you do have to work from a script. So having the experience of working with a script can definitely help you with that. So here are the lesson outcomes. So the main lesson outcome is understanding the main points of the play, and you are able to put it into practice. And it's all about being able to use a script and a play and performing it. So the SMSC question, SMSC stands for social, moral, spiritual and cultural. And what this question is just for us to get a bit of an understanding of how this lesson could help you with other areas of life outside of drama. So, why is it so important to learn about different periods of time and different cultures, do you think? So, I would like to answer it. So, why is it so important to learn about different periods of time and different cultures? There's a bit of a tip at the bottom that says, think about what you might have already learnt in history and geography. Can you make a link or give an example of a particular history or geography lesson where this was relevant? So I would like you to answer that. Now it is a matter of an opinion, but just think, why do you think it will be important for us to learn about different time periods and cultures? And I'd like you to write that down. So You can only move on to this practical task if you have completed all the previous work. This includes answering the previous SMSC question, the storyboard, and the PIN assessment of your storyboard, okay? So, the practical work task. So, what you need to do is you need to read through practice script 1 and practice script 2. As you can see, they are both on the screen. So if any of you are struggling to access the scripts that are attached to the assignment, your teacher can take a picture of this or copy this slide and send it to you in the chat, but they will also be available as attachments on the assignment. So I would like you to read these. So one of them is by Antigone and one of them is by Sentry. They are both characters in Antigone. So I would like you to choose which one you would like to perform. So it's completely up to you. Which one would you think? And then number 3, I would like you to practice performing the script out loud at home and using the vocal skills of pitch, pace, pause, volume and tone when performing. If you need a bit of a recap of what pitch, pace, pause, volume and tone mean, look at the previous slide or at the start of this lesson, the slide that has all the different key skills, the vocal skills on, and it has a lot more definitions there, so you can have a look and just have a bit of a recap of what these different vocal skills mean. So for instance, you could start performing this with a high pitch, or you could have a very sad tone. You could add some pauses after different lines. You could shout at one point. So you're increasing your volume. It's completely up to you. Then number 4, I would like you to do a voice recording of you performing your script and send it to your teacher. So you can do a voice recording on whatever device you have. So whether you have it on an iPad or you have it on your phone or you're doing it on your computer, whatever's best for you. Now, it is important that you do not make a video. It is only a voice recording. If you can't do a voice recording, you will need to write down the different vocal skills that you would use on the different lines and how you would perform it on stage. So you could do this by editing the document that is on the assignment. So those are the practice scripts, and you could just, for instance, on the first line, after that you could put high pitch. So you're essentially just writing down how you would perform this on stage with your different voices and your vocal skills. So you will have a majority of the lesson to do this, because I know some of you have finished the work, but it's really important that you spend the time to practice all the different vocal skills. If you think about a professional actor, they wouldn't just turn up on the day and read a script without any practice. Imagine that you're doing an audition. You need to practice and you need to make sure that you're confident with it. So, a reminder, send your work to your teacher only through your school email. No personal emails, please. We cannot accept them, only through your school email. If you didn't do a voice recording, send your teacher what you've written down about how you would perform a script. It is also worth mentioning that you may not be able to get through or be confident enough to do a voice recording of all the script. That's fine. If you feel comfortable performing half of it or even a few lines, that would be amazing. So please do not feel pressured to do everything. So that is the end of the lesson today. Just a reminder to send in your work after this lesson. As always, if you have any questions, please make sure you speak to your teacher within the lesson.